And I wrote down here, he's the son of Junior and Betty Prickett. And I said down here, nothing else needs to be said. I had this son, Dode. I said, Dode has done many things, and he's of interest that makes his new adventure exciting. And I think you saw Roy's flyer, we talked about Longhorns, so we're most interested, look forward to hearing about growing Longhorns or raising Longhorns or whatever we want to say. I think raising would be better than growing. But anyway, join me in welcoming Dode Prickett.
Little Junior. Little Junior. I got a few educational aids here. I think everybody knows me. If you don't, my name's Dode Prickett. I did graduate from University of South Carolina with Bachelor of Arts in Interdisciplinary Studies. I told them, I have my granddaddy's money. I need to take it and make more money with it. I want to be an entrepreneur. I don't want to take 2 years of a foreign language and 2 years of social science and 2 years of a physical, I want to set my own curriculum. So they said, you'll write down a letter of intent and whatnot and explain why you get to go around all that stuff. And I did, and I got accepted into the Interdisciplinary Studies program. So I have more business hours, more finance, more insurance, more real estate than if you actually got a business degree from the University of South Carolina, education man. So, and based on my son's degrees, they got masters in mechanical engineering, and they don't know principal times rate times time. He's trying to buy a house and stuff and get a mortgage. I say, Bo, if you pay it off in 15 years, you're a lot better than 30. I said, do the math on that. Well, I don't know how to do that. But they got master's degrees in mechanical engineering. So I have a lot of investment business type courses. I have more business hours in that business building at University of South Carolina than if I would have gotten a business degree. Anyway, that's a little bit about my educational background, right? That's why I'm here. It's not all cows, it's business. That's what you guys are about, right?
Go a little deeper than that.
I got a 2-year degree in general commerce from the, anyway, it's going to be half comedy and half informative. This is not my bull. This is not my bull. Bull. Why would you bring that, though? This is not your bull. This is the daddy of my bull. This is the daddy of my bull. That cow right there costs $250,000. That bull right there. And I got his son, one of his sons, out here behind the chain gang out here. I paid $1,200 for him. There's something wrong with him. I said, the guy bought it from Ohio. I said, what? There's got to be something wrong with him. You got these others, 5,000, 10,000, 15, 20,000. Why is he only? They said, we don't think his horns are going to get out more than 80 inches. 80 inches, 72 inches, 60. I said, I believe I can live with that, a little bit of not having horns. I got these other books here that are, you get the membership in the Texas Longhorn magazine. You can just flip through it real quick if you want to see something that's going on. So, how did this start? I went over to Pat Williams' supper, and I was telling him about my Longhorns, and I said, I could talk for a month about Longhorns. But my wife says, Dode, your stories are all too long and they have way too much information. You need to shorten it up. So I'm going to shorten it up. But if you want to know more stuff, I'll be glad to answer any kind of questions later. Call me on the phone, talk, whatever, if you're interested in the Longhorns. So my dad, he died July the 4th of 2022. He and I went back and forth to the Lexington Hospital for chemotherapy and radiation at 92 years old. 92 years old. I said, Dad, don't do it. Don't do it. He said, what you want me to do, just go home and die? I said, yeah, go home and die. Because you're going to wish you were dead. You're going to feel like you were dead. You're going to wish you were dead. Don't do it. He said, I don't feel like that. I don't feel like that. And he went through it, and he got the cancer out of his lungs at 92 years old. And he never got bedridden, and he kept going until maybe the last week of his life. So he was a strong dude. The guy said, I don't know, it's just good, something plasma, I don't know, cytoplasm or something, whatever you got in your body, just good genes, good genes. So we would ride through Sandy Run, and we're going through Sandy Run, and everybody knows the cows are over there on the left by Pete Tuck's store. You look out there, you see the herd of cows, you'd say, where are those Longhorns? Where are those Longhorns? There's a couple of cows out there in that whole herd that are Longhorns. He never said, where's the black one? Where's the red one with the white face? He's just, where are the Longhorns? Where they? Oh, they over there in the shade. Oh, they over there by the water trough. It's always where the Longhorns at. Still, I would never have gotten a Longhorn. Never, because I grew up with cows my whole life. My dad, my granddad said, a cow with horns will stick you. He'll stick you. When you're dumping out the sweet pea and you turn your back, next thing you know, he done stuck you. Don't get a cow with horns. Do not get a cow with horns. I've been trained my whole life. The cow with horns, he goes up to the feed trough. It's a bully, right? No, I'm eating. I got these horns. Nobody eats until I get through eating. I would not get a Longhorn no more than flying to the moon. So my friend Ken Banks, he's working somewhere. He's out, he fixes the floors and big warehouses and stuff, puts a polymer down. Anyway, he's got some Longhorns out in the pasture next to the plant. He goes out there, he takes a bunch of pictures of Longhorns. He sends that to me. He says, dude, you need to get you a Longhorn. I say, no, I don't need no damn Longhorn. What the hell? I ain't getting no cows with horns, right? I'm not getting a Longhorn. Well, you know how Google works and how Facebook, and somebody's listening. Something's listening. Starts popping up on Doe's Facebook feed. So I say, well, let me Google Longhorn. Let me Google it. So I Google Longhorn, and wow, that's when it started. I found out the Longhorns are the oldest cows in North America. They came over here with Christopher Columbus. When was that, Larry?
1492.
Exactly right. You're exactly right. So that's a long time ago, right? They come over here. What are they? Are they out there with cowboys and ropes and lassos? No, they're beasts of burden. They own ships and they got yokes on them and they pulling. They're using them. Like mules or whatever. Well, fast forward, they go feral. They're in Mexico, South America, everything. They get loose, they start breeding, they go feral. Next thing you know, there's 10 million of them. Rio Grande, the bottom part of the United States, Texas, South America, survival of the fittest, biology, right? Wolves, coyotes, the ones with the longest horns, the ones who could go the longest without water, the ones who could survive, on cactus. Those are the ones that did well and reproduced. So, fast forward to the Civil War. Civil War. What year was the Civil War?
I don't know.
1860s. 1860s, right? 1865.
1 to 65.
Something like that. The country is hungry. The country's broke. The country ain't got nothing to eat. So they figure out if we go down here to Texas and Mexico and we get these cows, and they're wild, you catch it, you put your brand on it, it's yours. It's yours when you put the brand on it. So what do? They have the cattle drives and they drive them to the railroad, right? That's where all of our cowboy folklore and stuff comes from. The John Wayne movies, the whole 9 yards. Rope and throw and brand them, cowboy way of life. None of that would have happened without the Longhorns, without the Civil War, without the country being hungry. So what's the next thing that happens? Just like the buffalo, we wipe them out. They're about gone. There's like none left. We done about wiped them out. So the park range government gets involved. They send these two guys who like in Wichita Refuge to find some of the Longhorns from different places, the original Longhorns, as far back as they can go, and bring them and put them on this wildlife refuge to help preserve them. But they found out there's like 8 major families that are left. The one family that I'm involved with are the Butlers, like the Tabors, the Pricketts, the Summers. These are the Butlers. The boy, when he was a boy, his name was Milby Butler. He was a cowhand or whatever, and instead of getting paid money when he would cut school and go do cowboy stuff, they'd say, pick you out a couple of cows. Well, which one did he pick out? The ones with the longest horns, the Butlers. So I say, my dad's dying of cancer. I need some agri-tainment. I got chickens. I need something here to look at. We got to ride here. We got to ride there. We got to go eat breakfast down at the darn Poplar Creek. You know, you just got to do things with him to get him away from my sister. She's about to go damn crazy trying to take care of him, you know. So I'm killing two birds with one stone. Help my sister. Got to have something to do with Dad. You know, do things with him. It's hard to love somebody and want to kill them at the same time when you're dying of cancer. It's just a true story. True story. Joe Ferry knows very well, right? So, you know at the time you're doing it that you're gonna love this for the rest of your life. You know, you're never gonna regret taking care of Daddy in the last days of his life. But it's a tough son of a bitch. And people say, Dude, do you miss your daddy? I say, not yet, not yet. So it's been about 6 months, and I'm just now starting to miss him. So I say, I'm gonna find me a Longhorn. Where's the closest Longhorn to me? Type in Longhorn, South Carolina. Manning, South Carolina. Mr. Billy McLeod. You know him, Elliot? Billy McLeod, his son, Ricky McLeod. He's got these Longhorns. So I drive, one Saturday I drive over there. I'm not getting one, I'm just gonna look at them. Drive over there, get in the golf cart with him, ride around. I say, I want one that's old. I want like a 12-year-old one on Social Security. Might have 1 or 2 more calves in it. You know, ain't gonna jump over the fence, can barely stand up and walk to the water hole. I want an old one, I don't want no trouble. And I want one with some nice horns on it. He drives me up to this gray one. He said, how about this one right here? She got a couple teeth missing. I said, well, how much? I said, yeah, don't tell me how much. $3,000. I said, okay. He said, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll breed her. You come, well, I'll ride you around. I got like 5 bulls. You look at the bulls, the colors that you like, and I'll breed her to the bull of your choice. I'll pregnancy check her. Then when she gets pregnant, I'll bring her. You come get her, take her over to St. Matthews, and then you give me the $3,000. I said, that sounds good. So he does that. He calls me like in June, come get her. She's a sharpshooter. That's her name. She's a sharpshooter. Big old gray cow, gigantic horns. Put her in the trailer, bring her home. Said, now you can get you some paperwork. Texas Longhorn Breeders Association, get the paperwork, start looking through it. Mama, daddy, right? Then 4 grandparents. Then 8 great-grandparents. Then 16, right? And then what? 32. Very good, very good. When you get down here to 32, what do I see? Dode's boy.
Oh.
I say, what the hell? Dode's boy? What are the chicks? My name, Dode, you don't see that anywhere. D-O-D-E. You go to all the truck stops, you go to Walt Disney World, you go in the little shop, there's all the license plates, all the names. Never a Dode. Never a Dode. I think I might have seen Dodie one time, like D-O-D-I-E or D-O-D. There's no Dodes. There's no Dodes. My mama named me Dode. It's tough. Tough thing. I want to change. I said, when I get 18, I'm changing my name to Bob, Frank, Bill, Sam, anything but Dode. My wife thought my name was Doug for about 6 months. And I let her think it, because I know if I told her Dode, she might. Anyway, so I say, what are the chances that this bull, how does this bull have a name Dode's boy? So I get on the internet and I start searching and I start emailing. And I get out to Arkansas and Texas and stuff, and they say, you need to talk to Queso Katie. He's from Louisiana. If anybody knows where that name come from, it's him. So me and Dad riding around in the car and doing this kind of stuff. I find Queso Katie. He calls me on the phone. He said, "You want to get you a Longhorn?" I said, "Well, I already got one." He said, "Well, I'm going to give you some advice. Mr. Elliott, I'm going to give you some advice. You take your checkbook and you find a drawer in your house and you lock it in there and you throw away the key." That's the advice. He says, do not get into these Longhorns, because if you think they want black ones, by the time you get black ones, they're going to want gray ones. If you want gray ones, by the time you get gray ones, they're going to want another color. You can't chase this unless you got oil money or, just money to throw away. You don't need to get involved in this. I said, "Well, my dad's dying of cancer and I just need some horns to look at, I'm just trying to entertain him, whatever." So I talked to Queso Katie. He said, "You need to come to the Butlers Breeders Invitation 25th anniversary sale in Lockhart, Texas." So I went to the Alamo. Going to the Alamo, thirsty, right? I'm at the Alamo. Got 2 bottles of water, put my credit card in, declined. Credit card got turned down at the Alamo trying to get water, bub. What are the chances of that? Anyway, they thought somebody stole my credit card, right? So my brother-in-law, he lives in Galveston. He worked for Exxon his whole life. He got a beach house in Galveston. So I tell my wife, "Don't you want to go out to Texas and see your sister? I'll drive you and your mama and my aunt out there. We go out there and see." She said, "What's out in Texas?" I know you always got an ulterior motive. I said, "Well, there's this Longhorn sale. You are not getting any Longhorns. And you damn sure ain't getting none from Texas." I said, "Can I take the trailer? Can I pull the trailer out there?" "No, you are not getting any." I said, "Well, I just want to go look." So I go on Labor Day weekend to the Texas Longhorn sale in Lockhart, Texas, with my brother-in-law. Go by the Alamo and stuff. We're in town. This town is good because that's on the Chisholm Trail. The Chisholm Trail, where they would drive the cows. That's why they're selling them here. These are Milby Butler. These are Milby Butler's cows. These are one of those 8 families. This is where Mr. Dode's kinfolk are. So if you look through this magazine, you'll see where I highlight different people. It's got Dode's boy in there, Dode's girl, Dode's, anything to do with Dode. Lots of different Dodes and stuff. So I get out there to the auction. I find that guy, Queso Katie. I say, "Here I am." I said, "I did what you said, though. I locked my checkbook up. I don't have any money." He said, "That's good, that's good. But if you want to buy something, you can put it on my account." He said, "And I'll take them back to Louisiana for you. I'll haul them back to Louisiana. So all you got to do is come to South Carolina, Louisiana to pick them up." I say, "Okay, maybe. So this sale, I said, I want to talk to some people, some old people who might know Uncle Dode Partlow. His name was William Dozier Partlow. Billy Dent had been out to Texas and stuff, he wrecked his plane out there. He married Ethel Dent. It's only like an hour away." I said, "Maybe that's how Dode got out there to Texas." They said, "Oh, they got a little blonde-headed boy there in South Carolina named Dode, and they said, that's a funny name." Anyway, I'm trying to solve this mystery. William Dozier Partlow. Don't really know why he came up with Dode's boy. Anyway, talked to a lady back there in the back of the barn. I said, "I'm Dode Prickett." She said, "From William Partlow?" I said, "No, ain't got nothing to do with that." I said, "I bought a cow in Manning, looked on his pedigree, saw Dode, and here I am in Texas, wanting to buy a cow that's, kin to Dode's boy. If I'm gonna do it, I would like to have one that's kin to the bull that's named Dode's boy." So the auction's about to start, and I say, no. I say, "Hey, Queso, I ain't got no number." He said, "You got to have a number." I said, "All right, go get a number." So I go in there, I said, "Hey, I need a number." I said, "I'm telling you, I don't have any money." He said, "That's fine. If you with Queso, you good to go. Good to go." So I have a number. I'm sitting there, me and my brother-in-law, and the first cow ran out. All right. Who's that? $5,000. Now 6. Now 7. Now 75. Now 10,000. Now 12. Now 12. $15,000 the first cow that came out. I told my brother-in-law, I said, we might as well leave. We might as well go. We wasting our time here. So I sat there for 45 minutes. They sold cows, you know, high dollar, high dollar, high dollar. They would look up on the wall and say, see these skulls up here? This cow up here had so many horns so at such and such an age. You know, you keep the skulls and you keep the horns and you know who the cow is, and it's nostalgic. And so it's going to be a while, but I'm going to have a set of horns on my barn. And I'm going to know she's a sharp shooter. This is the first one I bought. This is when my dad had cancer. She came over and she had a heifer calf. Beautiful heifer calf. You got a story behind the horns that's hung on the wall. You can buy them up there in Ohio, $3,000 for a skull and a polished set of horns with the whole story behind it. So, I buy 4 Texas Longhorns. They come out there and nobody's bidding on it. Nobody's bidding on it. I said, what's wrong with it? Must have got bad udder. Must have got hair. So nobody's bidding. I say, it gets down to $500. I say, okay, now 5, now 10, now 5, now 50. That one goes up to like $6,000. I said, what the hell, man? Nobody's bidding on that. He said, sometimes people go, they just kind of get cow drunk. Get cow drunk from hearing too much about cows, right? So another one comes out there, and sure enough, I got one for like $1,200. So now I had one, might as well get the trailer all the way back to Louisiana. So I ended up buying 4 of them, and I had $4,500 in 4 of them, and one of them had a calf by her side, and the other 3 were all pregnant. Call that 2 for 1. So, bring them back home, put them out here on the pasture. Agri-tainment. You come over to my house, I'll put you in the 4-wheeler, we ride out there, drink a cool beer, look at the cows with the horns. They fascinate. Nobody looks at the black ones over there. It's all about the horns. You can't eat the horns. You can't eat the horns. You know, they're not really the most thing for beef or male. So another guy, Darrell Dickinson, this is my what am I saying? I'm wrapping this up. Darrell Dickinson, he's an artist. He had a book where he drew all the breeds of horses in North America, and he did really, really well with it. He made a bunch of money. He's an artist, Darrell Dickinson. He falls in love with the Texas Longhorns. He goes down to Texas from Colorado and he buys butlers. He buys all the butlers out. He moves them to Ohio, a bunch of reclaimed mining land up there where they put the topsoil back on it, because you get a lot more rain in Ohio and a lot thicker grass in Ohio than you do out in Colorado and Texas. You got to have like 15 acres for one cow out there, right? 75. Here you don't, so he takes them up there and he starts breeding them, and he's trying to make a bigger, better, fancier, beefier, heavier. He's taking this one of those 8 families and breeds it to this one of those 8 families. He's crossing them. He gets into artificial insemination. He gets into embryo transplant where you take the eggs out the cows. He gets into the black cows with the white stripes. He gets into those cows you see in Africa where it's got the gigantic horns coming out, All that's up in Ohio. So I call him up. I say, I'm going to get a bull from you. I'm coming to Ohio to see Todd Rundgren. Come up there and bring my trailer, buy this bull from you. So I go up there and I meet him and I sit down in his office. He reminds me of Billy Dent. He got the office with all the stuff on the wall, the crazy thing, the rabbit with the horns coming out of it. Darrell Dickinson. So he's up in Ohio. He's like the Butler people out there in Texas. They don't like him at all. They don't like him. They want the old Butler in the woods, rough, tough, small frame. That's what I got. That's the cows that I got. Ken the Dode's boy. And then I got a bull from Darrell Dickinson. And it's just agri-tainment. I'm not trying to get rich or anything, just something to do. I like looking at the horns.
How about that?
Amen.
Great. Anybody?
Get out your things and turn the page quick. We'll sing holy, holy, holy. Number one. We'll sing holy, holy, holy. Thank y'all. I'm in between careers right now. I think Mr. Ellett said I might could drive the truck where Shorty used to drive. I might could do that. I'm looking for something else to get into. I don't know what it's gonna be, but I'm not through with my business entrepreneurial thing yet. Might be public speaking or motivational speaking. Thank y'all.
We thought one time we would have to shoot